How can one transcend these veils of the world? Not just the physical world, but all other worlds. All other worlds within this world. And how does the divine God's presence within is realized? What is full consciousness? Full consciousness is the absolute ability to realize God. What else is full consciousness? Full consciousness is no spiritual ego. Full consciousness is the ability to experience the living presence of God in you. And further on, we will have a supportive, an integral, full consciousness transmission to further guide you to pierce through any worldly illusions and to awaken to the divine God's presence within. Guru Nanak describes that this worldly reality and its all distractions that lure you into the streams of the fluctuating changes at all times is like a city, buzzing with activity, with so many distractions and so many shopping malls and restaurants and a very busy place. And within that city, it is so difficult to find your way, to find the way, because of all the distractions. All the familiar places that became your norm, all the new adventures within that city also lures you into other places and spaces. And it becomes a never-ending labyrinth, a very difficult one. Because the way and the path to God's source, full consciousness, is a direct path when you are shown it, when it is revealed to you via a teacher or a guide that has walked that path already before you. Though God cannot be described specifically with our worldly vocabulary. For where God is, there is no language of this world. This is why God realization cannot be attained through intellect. Cannot be attained through the view of duality. Because God is beyond all duality. God is beyond non-duality. God's presence cannot be conceived through any mental speculation, and neither understood by your imagination. This happens all the time, whether consciously or unconsciously. Now, what I see as unconscious challenges in beings and people that I meet, and this is mainly unconscious. It's also quite a tricky aspect to it, because especially for the ones who have attained a lot of spiritual knowledge through many decades, it can be many decades, a whole lifetime, and that knowledge that has been attained, although one has grown to a certain degree, still is bound by that knowledge. That knowledge becomes so important to that being that it creates a certain idealization. But because it's so much believed, then that's what it is for them. This is all mind, the imagination that is created out of knowledge that one reads from books and videos or wherever this information comes from. That information is stuck like a transparent fortress. It's stuck. It creates a barrier from the actual true experience of living in oneness with God, of living in oneness with the absolute reality. Because along the years, one receives a lot of knowledge, but at some point that knowledge must be surrendered. The transparent fortress that has been built up as a spiritual reality, that too needs to be dismantled. And this is what I see in majority of beings, that when they accumulate too much information, too much spiritual knowledge, it becomes it obstructs the true reality, because one believes in it so much. And this is where people do get stuck a lot. What I've seen along the years is that when a person is new to spirituality, they come through with curiosity, with openness, with, let's say, less serious than certain people who are so serious about their own spirituality and the certain words that are used. These people who have less knowledge are the ones that actually move so quickly into full consciousness. And I've seen this happen so many times. I see where people get stuck because of what now becomes so spiritually familiar to them. Another thing that I see that becomes an obstacle is that when a being meditates a lot. Yeah, some people love to really meditate a lot. But when you meditate, what is really happening? Where are you? Because what I see, why people get stuck, is because they end up going to a place, a space that feels familiar to them. Yeah, you close your eyes, you meditate, and you recognize that you repeat the same practice. You repeat the same practice of space and expansion, for example, because that is what feels familiar to you. And you keep repeating that all and all over again. I see people, they meditate and they just shoot off to some place in space. And you can spend hours there, but what is really happening? Nothing. You see, there is a navigation, and this navigation, this path is very narrow. There is one road in this city that takes you to God. The other roads, they're spinning you in roundabouts, going up and down and up and down, reaching those high pleasurable states of some bliss or ecstasy, and then avoiding all the deep dark alleys. Like, what is really going on here? It becomes a whole play absolutely infused in this whole worldly illusion that one believes he's progressing somewhere, but in reality not. So I see a lot of obstacles in the way, and unfortunately they are unconscious for these people. It's unconscious. And the reason it happens because the mind loves to do something that is familiar. We love to go to places that we already know, or if we don't know, yes, we explore that. But then what happens? You're in the next moment and your mind is taking you to a familiar place. So that is one of the most addictions that this human civilization suffers from. Yes, the addiction and obsession of identity with mind, no matter how subtle the mind is. It will trick you in 1,000 ways to the most subtle spiritual egoistic way. It will find all your weak, unconscious points where the mind comes in and wants to verify itself in this way or that way. Everyone may know on an intellectual level that God, source, full consciousness, is everywhere, is within, is around, is within everything. Everyone knows this intellectually. But when we are able to transcend the veils of illusion of all worlds, then the true one reality is revealed. But for that to take place, we must measure within us the degree of surrender, trust, and faith we have in God. Because otherwise, we are clinging to what we know. We are clinging to the knower. That's the biggest trick of all, the knower. That's the biggest obstacle. The one that already knows. The one that already knows is the obstacle itself.